Hey everybody, Matt Bailey here. Welcome to the Music Universe podcast. Our founder and my co-host, Buddy Jan, is off this week. We'll get into why a little bit later after the interview. But today I am pleased to welcome true hit makers in many senses of the words, Jenna Andrews and Stephen Kirk. They've had an incredible career as artists and producers, and they're now part of the new Netflix series Hitmakers, as well as doing one of the most popular soundtracks for 2025. We'll get into that. But Stephen, Stephen and Jenna, how are you?
What up? What up? We're good. How are you?
Oh, I'm
Good.
great. I'm so excited to talk to you both. So let's get into this. I want to hear from you both separately first. How did you come to this world of music producing?
Oh, I'll let you start with that.
Um, okay, so producing music, it was really a start. So in I'll say like 2010, 2009, 2010, I was in a band, with my brother, and we had no money, obviously, and we couldn't afford to pay a producer, and so he was working a temp job at this place called I don't even know what the place was called. He was moving copiers for a copier company, and he met this guy Marcus York, who went to SAE. He was taking classes at SAE for engineering, and basically he had access to a studio. So it started. I used to go after my job. Me and Marcus would hang out, and he would let me go into his school, and I would start just messing around in the MIDI rooms, and then eventually in the big studios. And that's really how I got my start producing, was just learning to produce, with my friend Marcus, trying to figure out how to make stuff for my band so that we could release music. And then it ended up, taking a life of its own. So,
Love that. Jenna?
Um, so for me, I would say like I started as an artist also, and then basically moved into vocal production. So that's I just, a lot of times when you're writing songs, in order to make the demo sound good, you want to obviously have the vocal has to shine and obviously represent the song. So I spent a long time really learning how to do that, like really arrange harmonies and really coach the singer on how to deliver the song. Um, so that just became like a whole different passion for me. And then from there, I started executive producing projects. I was consulting for Barry Weiss at Records, which is it's a JV label in the Sony system. So I was just kind of overseeing albums like Noah Cyrus, Lennon Stella, um, Lauren Haregi from Fifth Harmony. It was really more so like I guess like the old school approach to production, more so like just sort of like, I guess we would pick a direction for them and sort of picking the best creators for them in the room. So yes, it's A&R, but sort of it's again, like I said, it's sort of not the way that A&R is today. Probably like 20 years ago, that's how people considered A&R. So that's sort of how I would call my producer, um, the version of producer I am.
Well, you both have some A-list clients and recordings under your belt. You're both multiple Grammy nominees, and then you joined forces. Tell me about how you met and the decision to not only, I hope you don't mind my saying, but become a couple, but also a couple that works together in a very creative space. Tell me about that.
um,
Well, we met on Zoom,
yeah,
first
we
of all.
we met on Zoom, much like this,
Yeah.
and we were working on Butter for BTS. We had no idea it was going to be Butter, but we like any writing session, you go in and you just try to figure out what you're doing. And through that process, I just thought she was an amazing woman, just as a person, right? Like on a human level, she's just an amazing human. And then I thought she was so talented. So I was obviously I wanted to be friends, and I wanted to work with her. So the goal was really, in addition to trying to write a song for BTS, was really to figure out a way to convince her to A, be my friend, and B, work with me. And then so my the first thing the first goal I reached was we became friends first. So we were friends for a while, and we were just like, let's work as much as we can together because we work so well together. And you know, then after a little time, I was like, okay, now I don't want to be friends. Now we should be a couple. So that was my next goal. So it's just a constant setting goals and trying to achieve each goal. And I've been extremely happy since.
I think for me, it's so interesting because I think on a creative level, you spend so much time with somebody, and I think that was a part of it too. It's just that, because we had such a good working relationship and obviously friendship, it just kind of felt obvious. We were like, why? I mean, why are we not dating too? We might as well have the whole package.
Right. No, I love that. I love that. And are you talking to us from your studio that you opened? Tell me about the process of opening your own studio together. That was
Yes.
Yeah, so this is graffiti, and
obviously.
yeah, well, not graffiti, but like this graffiti
I
sound.
know,
This
I
is our
know. Yep.
yeah. And so a funny thing is, the two of us were looking for we split time between Nashville and LA, so
Yeah.
we're back and forth a lot. And we wanted a home in Nashville, and so we were looking, and we found this place, and it had this commercial studio built with the house, right? Like on the
Oh,
same
cool.
property. And so there was no gear in here. All the wiring had been pulled out. And so we really had a blank slate of kind of how we wanted to design the room and where we wanted everything done. So the same guy that I got into the studio with all those years ago to teach me how to produce, he now works with me. And him and our engineer were the ones who wired it and designed the whole thing. So like it's kind of like a full circle thing. Like we used to work in somebody else's studio, and now me and Marcus, now we do the same thing. We work in this studio.
Yeah, and it's I was gonna say too, it's been really cool because we only just started doing like proper sessions in the studio in February. And
Hmm.
since then we've had a Big X the Plug camp here. And then we had a camp for Jess Glynn, who's a UK artist, and a camp for Jisoo from Blackpink. We're about to do our fourth camp in August, but we've already landed two songs from, actually, no, I mean,
Three.
three songs from the Big X. Oh, I didn't even mention we did a Nate Smith and Bailey Zimmerman camp as well. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, three of the songs that were done here are coming out. One is already out, which is Big X the Plug,
With Shabuzi,
Shabuzi,
right? Yeah.
Shabuzi, but we didn't write on it, but it was done here. So.
That is so cool. Now let's get into some of these projects specifically. Of course, Butter, the big thing, the big one. So talk to me about Butter, and then more. I want to talk about K-pop more broadly, but first, talk about the creative process for Butter, and why is K-pop so insanely popular? And we'll get into the soundtrack for the animated film here in a minute, but I want to start with Butter.
I mean, I just think because it's uplifting music, people can dance to it. Um it kind of took, obviously it's interesting in my opinion. I think when BTS really came with their first big American song, Dynamite, I think it really was coming from a time where a lot of people were doing like the sad song, thing, and I think that was really refreshing to people, and especially in America.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think that really just opened up a lot for K-pop here. Obviously, it's been so popular over there for a long time, but yeah. What do you
I
think?
think he was asking about the process of butter.
Oh,
yeah.
the
Well,
process
both
of butter.
both and
I
both
mean,
at the same time. And off of your experience with Butter, any insights into the massive popularity here in the States for K-pop? So it's kind of a twofer. I'm sorry, I kind of melted those questions together, but yeah, the process of Butter as well.
oh my gosh, the process of butter. I mean, you want to talk about it, or do you want me to?
Um, I mean, you can talk about it.
I mean, okay, long story short is that he had a song that's what I was saying. You had a song, what, that you wrote in 2018?
Mhm.
And it was sent to me by this other guy that was signed to my publishing company at the time with Barry Weiss. And basically Dynamite was out and they had sent this as like a follow-up song. I didn't know Steven at the time. And I heard it and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. First of all, you know, it's like his voice is crazy. And I was like, this production's nuts. And this just sounds like exactly what BTS needs to do next. So I asked the guy that was signed to me at the time to connect me to him. And then that's how we eventually met in Zoom. And then we basically reworked it. That's what we did on Zoom. And so that's when we kind of decided to call it Butter. It wasn't Butter at the time, but the track was, I mean, I'll let you talk about that, but the track was basically almost what it is today from what,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think as far as the track is concerned, it's pretty much the same as it was in 2018. We pulled some elements out of it for the verses, but the track started just as like it was kind of like a passion project for me. I just wanted to kind of do something in like the MJ Bruno Mars lane, and I was just kind of like trying to just work on my skills there and kind of just sharpen those tools. And it just turned out special, and I really loved it at the time. And it sat in a Dropbox folder for forever. And so um, eventually, yeah, we met. Somebody heard it through COVID, and then sent it to her, and then she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect for BTS," and then we reworked it. So
It was crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy to think about that that happened, you know, especially the idea that we were able to create so much on Zoom, even though you had already had such a great base for it. It's just it's so interesting to think about how creative we really could have been we were on Zoom. I guess it's a testament to connection, whether it's in person or not, right? So
Yeah, and it's a testament to how music connects people. Now, did you get this Netflix Demon Hunters project off of your work in K-pop, or how did that come to you? That's why I wanted to follow this up with that
oh,
question. Yeah.
I would say
yeah,
basically.
probably
Yeah.
because I think the K-pop Demon Hunters movie wanted to stay very true to Korean culture and
Hmm.
K-pop culture, and so um, basically, I'm pretty sure like she reached out. Spring Aspers reached out to our management um, and was just like, "Hey, they've had some success in K-pop, and we'd like them to be a part of this movie." And that was that was a whole different um, experience from any songs that we've written. It's when you're dealing with like an animated band or an animated anything, they can change animation, change the script, and all the things based on you know other parts of the movie, song lyrics, things like that. So that was a pretty intensive process, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, like 2.5 years worth of work.
Yeah.
Well, it paid off. It's the highest charting soundtrack of 2025, and it's a K-pop animated movie, which again goes to my earlier point getting into all of this is just the massive popularity of K-pop globally.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
K-pop. A lot of people like when people say K-pop. I think because they're Korean acts, it's K-pop, right? But I believe that like pop and K-pop aren't that different, except for there's just less rules right now in K-pop.
Mhm.
Like our pop, our
Interesting. Interesting. You sound like you were going to go into it, but less rules. How do you mean? I want to jump in on that.
I just mean like, as songwriters and producers, we kind of follow trends and where music is and where it's going. We try to stay current, but just current enough. Like you don't want to be so like a lot like you can be left certain times, but like most producers are just trying to chase what's coming in the next 6 months, right?
Hmm.
I think K-pop, like I think that there's just no rules, and the artists are so developed from like the beginning that they have this whole lore and all these things. And I just think like in K-pop, transitions, sections, length of songs, like it can just be whatever if it's fire, it's fire. And I think that's what I love about K-pop. It's just like if you can make a Michael Jackson inspired song and make it so MJ, or do in sync, massive harmonies, all these things, and just larger than life vibe, and like it's still working in K-pop. And I think that's what makes K-pop so fun. And I think that's why it's so popular. It's just because like I mean, there's a time in like the 2000s when like every beat was four on the floor in the US and it was just kind of like the same dance. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd listen to 10 songs and you'd be like, they almost could be the same song.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot in our culture in America where like a lot of things start sounding the same and we have like the same. I mean, songs aren't sounding the same, but it's the same influence. It's the same genre, basically. It's like, okay, pop is really in a dance, pop is really in a hip hop, pop is really in an R&B phase, pop is really in a rock phase, and it kind of goes through cycles. But I think in K-pop, it's just like whatever you want to do, you can do, and I think it's so cool.
Yeah, like you don't have to be as clever too, I feel like, necessarily on a lyric all the time.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah,
It's so interesting that you say that because even as someone who listens to K-pop and enjoys it, just casually knows sort of the biggest hits, I would have thought it was the inverse. That because they're coming
that's
from
what I thought.
these boot camps, right? They're coming from these idol boot camps and the culture over there of this is your image, this is your brand, everything being sort of put in line for them, that the music would follow that way too, and it would be less artist driven. So
That's
that's
actually how I feel. I actually feel the opposite of that. I feel like you may not have to think of certain lyrics that like make tease your brain, but I think like the writing for the artist is much more intensive.
No, I mean like sort of just in the sense that like sometimes in some pop music, especially sad girl music, it's like a lot of lyrics that are like all metaphors that people don't really understand. I
Right.
think this has to be, of course, like I think Butter's clever. I
yeah.
mean, I think, so in terms of that, obviously, but it's a different version of clever,
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
I meant to say. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's just kind of like I think things that people actually understand when you listen to Smooth Like Butter, like a criminal undercover, you know what we're talking about. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
it's not, yeah, yeah,
If not, just get out from
yeah,
under the rock.
exactly, exactly, yeah.
No, it's great. Speaking of Netflix, obviously the big thing now, and it's just dropped, is Hitmakers. So excited to see that you're a part of that. Talk to me. I mean, as folks who've had so much success already, the decision to put yourself out there on reality TV, on a docu-series, in a way that a lot of people that work behind the scenes don't necessarily feel comfortable with. What went into your personal decision to be part of that show?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, I will say I think a big part of why I did it, which I'm pretty sure this is why you did it too, is Harvey
I did it.
Mason.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
We love Harvey and obviously
Mhm.
Britt Burton, who are both executive producers on the show. And it felt really important to represent songwriters. It's just I think it's something that people um, don't necessarily understand. I mean, which why would they? But I think also songwriters are there's a lot of things we could get into in terms of
Yeah.
how songwriters are treated. But I think that it was just important to have a show that, showed the behind the scenes people.
And what did you learn about yourselves or each other artistically going into that sort of format of creating throughout the show?
I mean, you what do you think?
I think I learned, well, first of all, I learned um that reality TV is a wild thing, right? There's a lot of things that you see on the show that didn't happen how they look like they happened, and there's a lot of like, it's reality TV. You can't really like, I don't know, it's entertaining, and I get why like people like love shows like this, but like a lot of the time, I'm like, oh wow, like this isn't exactly how it went down. Like this is like some of this stuff is they've really like zhuzhed up for TV. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I think what I learned is like when you're the only couple on a show, like you're a target for everyone. Like we have like there was no drama in the first couple episodes, and there was a time when they were like looking for more drama and making it very like known like we need a little more than what we're getting. And I think it kind of just like ignited a wildfire on the drama side. So it was kind of like, all right, this is what we're doing. Like let's fully buy into this. We're on TV vibe. And which for me, I'm like, I thought going into the show it'd be a lot more music based, right? And so I was like, okay, like when people Google me, I want people to see music. Like this person makes music. I never in my mind thought I wanted people to see Netflix when they pull me up. Like I could not care less about being on TV, to be honest with you. I just want to be in the studio.
Sure.
But what I learned is like, I saw her in a lot of moments and saw myself in a lot of moments where I'm just like, this is why we're a partnership, because I there was not a session that we did separately where I was like, I actually enjoy this or prefer this over what I have at home. You know what I mean? I like, you have all these people with so much success and it's fun and all these things, but like I wouldn't trade working with anyone for working with her. So I really learned what I already knew, which was just like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and I think to be fair, like you said, it didn't necessarily feel like a docu-series. You know, it
Mhm.
really felt more like a reality show. I do obviously know that they captured moments in the studio, and obviously you do see music, but I think yeah, just that was definitely, again, like even just, you know, the point that they separate us. I think we were probably not together more than we were together on the show, which is
Mhm.
funny because we went on the show being like, okay, we're going to be together like we always are in every session. So that
Yeah.
was definitely a learning curve in going into something like that because you know, obviously we weren't prepared for that. So you only find out when the camera's turned on that they're like, by the way, you're not working together today. So I guess
Yeah.
you know, the surprise element was definitely a learning curve.
Wow. I think it's I'm just glad, reality TV or not, drama or not, I'm just glad that that side of music is and music production is getting the platform that it
That's true.
is,
For sure.
you know. And I'm glad that it featured you, and I'm glad you're the only couple because then there's something rather unique that makes you stand out on that reality side as well. So so what's coming up? I mean, you already talked about some of the camps that have been at Graffiti, your studio, and studio for anybody who may not have caught on earlier is Graffiti Studios. Um, what's up next for you guys?
Well, hopefully more podcasts with you.
Yeah.
Just to be transparent. You know, hopefully we're hopping back on the podcast sometime soon.
Yes, please.
No, but we have okay, so we've got artists signed to a label that we've started now. And
Mhm.
so as if we don't have enough work to do already, we decided let's get a couple more things going. So we've got releases with one of our artists, Kendall Cudd, coming. We have releases with a country artist that we have signed, Morgan Johnston, and then we signed this girl, Maddie Pruitt, and we've got songs coming out from her. She finished seventh on American Idol,
Oh wow.
and now she's 16. She's amazing, and now she's signed to us. So we're working on her debut music, and you know, more songs, more fun, more life, more more farm animals, maybe. I mean,
More.
more studio time,
You
more
didn't even talk
everything.
about that. We have, oh yeah, so on the side we're well, I can't say word. He's basically a farmer on the side. We have 5 goats, 2 ponies, 2 dogs, and 5 chickens.
5 chickens, yeah.
I have to I mean, I literally like he basically goes out there.
Well, me and
Yeah,
Bagel.
yeah. Anyway, so it's a whole production over here. But we also do have another camp happening in the middle of August. That's really exciting. So I think there's gonna be a lot of new songs coming out of that too. So that will be our next podcast.
And for listeners who may not understand when we say camp, what do you mean by that? What is a camp for you guys, and how does that work? And yeah, go ahead.
That's a good question because the other day that kid thought it was a summer camp. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. When you're a songwriter, a camp is something that you get invited to with other songwriters and producers, and you write for whoever the camp, whatever artist the camp is based around, right?
Hmm.
When you're putting on a camp, it's a collaboration between managers, publishers, labels, artist managers, the artists, and then teams for every writer and producer that you invite. So we've been to a lot of camps, and now that we are on this side of it and starting like we're putting together camps, it's a whole different experience. But basically, a songwriting camp is we're a bunch of creatives, producers, and songwriters, And sometimes artists come together in a studio or multiple studios, and they're writing around one goal. And so you kind of switch the rooms up and have different vibes, and you kind of just see where the magic lies. And then hopefully there's an energy that happens in these camps where it's like everybody's in such a high because it's like kind of like summer camp. It really is kind of like summer camp, that everybody's so excited and it's so fun that it just seems to elevate the songs just a little bit, because like the spirit is high. You know what I mean? And so I
Yeah.
think that's why I guess people do them. And also it's just so fun. But that's the goal. We put camps together for an artist who's looking for a song or an album, and we just go to work.
Well,
and we have fun.
and sometimes I will say this artist is there, which makes it really great, because let's say they're
Yeah.
working on an album and they're touring, right? So
Mhm.
let's say the artist is like, okay, I have 3 weeks to make my album. Then a lot of times their writing camp is really good for them, because they'll come and they'll get a bunch of their favorite creatives, and you'll have 3 studios or 4 studios going. And they can make their entire record in 3 weeks, really. So, and
That's
it just,
incredible.
and what's good about it is they don't have to be in every room, because let's say they trust us and we're in the one room that they're not in, and we write, and they'll come down and be like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Let me throw my voice on it really quick. So it's just, I just think it's like a really good collaborating moment to have with all your peers. And then yeah, I mean, it shows a little bit of that on Hitmakers. That was really a lot of the concept, right? It's like
Yeah.
songwriting camp. So that's what we do over here.
That's
A little
awesome.
less reality and drama, though.
No, I love it. I'm sure, that's the thing. Not to be critical of reality TV, but that's the thing, is there's so much organic drama and organic tension in things that,
Right.
if you were to do a docuseries, I think it would be just as compelling, because of the inherent conflict that is, and I mean good conflict. I don't mean people butting heads, but the internal conflict inherent in the creative process. So, no, I'm excited for you guys. Oh, click that out there. I'm excited for you guys, and this has been a really great interview. Thank you both, Jenna. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank
Hitmakers,
you.
I believe it is out now, as is Demon Hunters. You can listen to it. Again, one of the most streamed, most downloaded soundtracks of the year. And of course, you can find all your other work with your artists throughout their catalog. Jenna, Stephen, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Our thanks again to Jenna and Stephen. I'm going to be quick here on this outro. Why is Buddy not with us? Well, unfortunately, Buddy had a four-legged passing in the family. Our four-legged producer, who was always underfoot, his Pomeranian Zildjian. So I'd like to dedicate this to our four-legged furry producer, Zildjian, who was always right there with him. You've probably even heard him snore on many an episode of these podcasts. He was anywhere Buddy was, he followed him. And as you know, Buddy has a lot of pets and is just one of the best pet dads in the world. And so, of course, he loves his animals because they're part of the family. So he's just taken some time away because it was rather sudden. So he's taken a little bit of a break from some of the other things we do. But, he's pumping out the news every single day at themusicuniverse.com. So, Zildjian, we love you. We're thinking about you, and we will be every time we step into this booth to record these episodes. Thank you once more to Jenna and Stephen. You can find their work again on Netflix, on streaming, and Demon Hunters soundtrack is out there and really popular right now, and Hitmakers is on Netflix. For the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.